What is up? Welcome to Mountain Biking Headquarters, mountainbikinghq.com. And today I'm going to talk about, can you use a mountain bike for a triathlon? I know that a lot of people that are new to triathlon will, consider what kind of bike they're going to use. And if you've talked to any triathlon people, I'm sure they kind of went off and said, you got to rent a bike, you got to rent a real tri bike, or at least get a road bike. And I'm just going to kind of give you the pros and cons of both. I've been there, done that. I've done like both. I've seen both sides of this, and I just want to give you some tips so that you can make an educated decision on it. As you can see here, the guy on the left is with a mountain bike. I don't even know if he's doing a triathlon, but he's doing some sort of a race, it appears. And the guy on the right is in aero position on an actual triathlon bike. So first, let's just go over the downsides of using a mountain bike if you're going to do a triathlon. Number one is you're going to go slower. So mountain bikes are not designed to go really fast on flat areas. You've got thick tires. They're just not very aerodynamic. So be prepared that if you're on the mountain bike, you're going to get passed by a lot of people because they are on superior equipment. And you could even be in way better shape, stronger, better athlete. But in reality, their equipment is better and they are going to beat you in the race. So just be prepared that you will go slower on a mountain bike. Another downside of using a mountain bike is that you'll burn yourself out on the bike before you get to the run. So if you've never done a triathlon before, there's definitely, you'll want to do some cross training before, but you'll soon realize that when you bike and then you get off the bike and you have to go on that run, your legs are going to feel like lead. And if you're using a mountain bike, you're just going to be expending so much more energy to get through the bike portion of the course that when you get on that run, your legs are going to seriously feel like jello, and it's going to be your run will be affected by that. So just keep in mind that it's not just going slower on the bike, it's also going to probably make you go slower during the run portion of the race as well. And lastly, you might feel a little bit out of place depending on the race. So, if this is like a real kind of loosey-goosey type of a race where it's just kind of put together by a local tri club, you're probably going to be fine. But if this is more of a race where you're going to put some significant money into it, maybe it costs like $100 and it's a really well-organized race, just keep in mind you're going to have a lot more stronger presence of guys that are really into triathlon there. So when you put your mountain bike up on the rack and transition in the transition area, just you might feel a little bit out of place. Of course, the triathlon community is one of the coolest communities I've ever been associated with. Everybody there is awesome, and they would welcome you, especially if you're kind of new to triathlon. But so I guess, if it's your first triathlon and you just want to see if you like triathlon and you don't really want to go out and buy a bike or spend the money what it costs to rent a bike, which can be upwards of $50 to $100 just for a one-day rental for a triathlon bike, then I would recommend, go ahead, go for it. Try it out, see how it goes with the mountain bike. Here, there are definitely some benefits of using a mountain bike in a triathlon. The first and foremost being that you will save money. Again, triathlon bikes are extremely expensive. I spent $4,000 on my bike, which obviously you can get some used ones and ones that are cheaper than that. But my bike's really nice. It's really fun to ride because I know it's like, and I've got it sized to fit me and everything. So it's a really fun bike to ride, and I'm optimized to be able to go as fast as I can. But if you're just trying out, triathlon to see if you even like it, you'll save a ton of money by just sticking with your mountain bike and doing one race, see if you like it. Keep in mind, you don't have high expectations of trying to win the race or do really well if you are using a mountain bike. Number two, it might be more comfortable for you. Some people, riding a road bike, the seats are a little bit different. Getting into aero position might make you a little bit more uncomfortable on a road. Keep in mind, aero position, you don't really have access to the brakes. You have to move your hands to access the brakes. So if you're not really comfortable as a bike rider in general, you definitely would feel more comfortable on like a mountain bike that you're used to riding rather than jumping right in and renting a triathlon bike where you're going to be putting yourself into aero position during the race, especially if you don't have any time training on that. I would definitely not recommend that, just jumping straight in and getting a triathlon bike if it's your first time. it would be better to actually rent like a road bike, which is just like a normal road bike, and that doesn't really, allow you to go into aero position for your first triathlon. You'll still be able to race fast on a road bike, not quite as fast because you're not dropping into aero position to make yourself the most aerodynamic. And then that being said, if you wanted to use a mountain bike, that could also make you way more comfortable, especially if you're new to the triathlon. And lastly, the other benefit could be that it just handles the course conditions. Most sophisticated triathlon races are going to be all on the road. You'll have some rolling hills or whatnot, but you might come into situations where some part of the course is on like a little bit of gravel or dirt, and in those cases, the mountain bike will come in handy because your tires will be less susceptible to getting popping on gravelly dirt type roads, and those types of things. So it might be able to handle some of the course conditions better, especially in the weather. If it's raining or whatnot, a mountain bike would actually handle that as better as well. The other thing I was going to throw out there is Xterra races. So Xterra races are triathlon races that are designed for mountain bikes. And so instead of riding your bike on the road, these races take place in mountainous areas where you're going to be able to be going on grass, like shown in this picture, or dirt, or up hilly mountainsides. So the bike course itself runs through, areas where you actually have to have a mountain bike. So Xterra races is definitely something to check out. Just type in Xterra races and their site will pop right up. And then lastly, I was going to offer something for you guys for free. So just Google Mountain Biking HQ 16-week plan. If you just pop that into Google, my site, mountainbikinghq.com, will pop up. And in there, I put a good blog post together that goes over a 16-week plan on how to prepare for your first triathlon. It is not a rinky-dink plan. This is pretty sophisticated, so you definitely want to be somewhat serious about doing this. I personally have done quite a few triathlons, and I pieced this together from different coaches I've had, which I think and also just from like a realistic perspective, because some people can take triathlon training, you can take it very seriously and train all day if you want. But this is kind of made for like a realistic lifestyle where it's almost like taking over just your workout of the day. But instead of doing, going to the gym or doing something else, you would just focus on doing triathlon for these 16 weeks. So it is a pretty intense plan, but it'll definitely help you along the way. It's got also some links to some great swimming tips for that. Swimming is a definite big portion of the race. So you want to check out, make sure you're following that. But I got some great links in there as well. So again, hopefully you guys found some value in this video. Like it if you did, and make it a great day. I'm out.